Good morning, Stocktwits crew. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope y'all have had a great week. It's been a crazy one with all the earnings. Arguably the biggest earnings week of the season. We had the Fed come out and report, no change on rates, of course, and a lot of great trades. This market's coming in a bit. Everybody's freaking out. Me and Michael Nouse were laughing about it a bit before the show started here. But I think going to be a fun beginning of the month. We ended the month yesterday with a bang. I personally had one of the best months I've ever had. And we're going to try and keep that going. But Michael Nouse, how has this week been? We had a lot of craziness going on, a lot of data. How are we trading this? How are we feeling about it?
Yeah, it's been great just because I love how panicked people are with 2.5% down. I just did a GIF or GIF for my Twitter where I just scrolled through. I searched the term engulfing candle, bearish engulfing, and it's just everyone in the world was just freaking out. And then of course, like the quant I am, I just said, does it matter? And then I went back and tested, and if you short after a bearish engulfing candle in the S&P 500, you get spanked. It's like you're wrong 65% of the time a week later. So I'll be interested to see if those numbers carry out and we get a nice little bounce off news here. But yeah, it's been awesome. And again, it's more awesome to me that a lot of people are worried. Like I know it's callous of me, but the more scared they are, the quicker, the more I think we're going to bounce here, and we get some good buying opportunities out of us.
I agree. Yeah, we're dipping into some big spots for sure. Some big names to watch. We had a lot of big earnings this week that we're going to get recapping on as well. But despite blowout earnings from Microsoft, Meta, markets couldn't hold momentum this morning. So the S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow all ended lower, weighed down by profit taking and brought a reset in expectations. We also had NFP this morning. Just again, so much craziness. To me, I think it's just giving a reason to the market to take a nice little dip here. Whether or not we end up holding like we have been over and over again, we'll see. But I gotta expect that because that's what we've seen over and over, right, Michael Nouse?
No, I think he said it right with just a reason for a sell-off. Like, we're down 2% from all-time highs, and we've ripped 30% from the tariff tantrum lows in pretty much a straight line. So, yeah, it's the news reports will always tell you after the fact why the market moved, but it just seemed like one of those. We need some amount of disappointing news just to shake the trees, get some longs out, get people nervous, suck in some shorts, and then go from there. Because yeah, it just seemed like we were looking for an excuse. At some point, we had to do this pullback. Like, you can't just rip. I think it was almost a record without a 1% down move. So yeah, we had to do something.
Yeah. Jim Cramer celebrates the moment. Tweet hits just before the market turned, capping a stretch of strong earnings optimism. Traders are now questioning if the good news is already priced in. Despite solid earnings from AI leaders like Microsoft and Meta, the broader market failed to rally, pointing to a shift in tone. Traders are calling this a haves versus have-not earnings season. Strong beats plus raised guidance equals gains. Missed or cautious outlooks equals punishment. I think that's a good representation of what we've seen with the earnings. But we got one. I love how they separate Nvidia from all the other earnings. Nvidia really wants its spotlight. You can tell.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, look at Nvidia. This is where I have a hard time. Of course, yes, market's taking a dip this morning, and we're coming in a bit. But when you look at Nvidia and what we're below Monday's candle right now. Is that Monday's candle that we're
barely? Yeah, we're like at the low of Monday's candle.
I played more short this week. I might be able to intraday play more short if it's there, but I mean, I can't be extremely bearish when all we're doing is retesting Monday's low on Nvidia, right? One of the biggest semis in the S&P right now.
And the shorts just have to be scared right now because, especially, and this is why I'm thinking we may have a bullish day, is going into Friday, knowing that Trump, the second the market takes a downtick, seems to completely chicken out of all of his positions. Are you going to hold this short into the weekend and him go on, Saturday or Sunday? We got a great deal with China and everything's great, and we're lifting all the tariffs on all these places, and this will be wonderful. And then you're stuck, like you're just in a position, and the market's kind of ripping on Saturday without you, and it's going to gap up in your face. So I think the shorts are really worried, and like I've been just kind of pounding the table here forever, is the large institutions are still net short. So this this green line right here is the average institutional positioning. And not only are they short, they're like more short than they've been since 2024. Just getting hammered here. So I'll be very interested to see how this number comes in over the weekend, because if they have shorted more into this dip and then there's any kind of positive news, we could have a complete face ripper. If they actually covered into this dip, I'll actually be a little bit more worried about it, just by how wrong these guys have been over time. It just makes me think that, right, I want to keep an eye on that positioning. So the contrarian trade is to buy this dip, right? To go with the masses means to short into it.
Yeah, I'm curious too. I mean, we're going into this new month of August. August to October seasonality, usually not so good. Does that play a role for you at all, Michael Nuss? I know for me, like I don't look into seasonality too much. Of course, it may be a factor here and there, but I'm gonna play price action, what's in front of me. But I'm curious if that maybe is still in the back of your head at all.
Some of those things is important. When it comes to like the presidential cycle, I think is kind of interesting. Like how things how things move when it comes to uh, elections, midterms, those kind of things. I think that might be important. Some of the Christmas stuff, like end of year, like window dressing and things like that, I think that might also be important. But when it comes to just, oh, we're normally up in June or down in July, if you actually look at the numbers, it's pretty much a coin flip for a lot of that stuff. So unless I can kind of internalize a reason, going into an election and after election makes perfect sense, right? Everyone's promising the moon, and then after an election, quite often there's a drop because people are disappointed with what they got. And then, midterms, same kind of thing. And then the whole presidential cycle, that again, that kind of stuff makes perfect sense to me. But when it comes to just, like the whole sell in May, go away thing, all that, I'm just not interested. If you want to really get into seasonality, I just can't shout out the Stock Traders Almanac enough by the Hirsch family, currently run by Jeff Hirsch. He does this whole thing, and the seasonality he looks at least makes sense to me. Things like taxes and elections, all that kind of stuff, that makes sense to me. Just you're selling because of a certain month. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't quite understand it either, because whatever price action's doing, I'm gonna have to follow that, right? If
Right.
seasonality lines up with it, cool. I just have more confluence, but usually not going to be the case for me. So, just to recap some earnings, we had Amazon and Apple go back to back. Amazon down 7% after hours.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it beat EPS and beat revenue there. AWS revenue 30.87 billion just beat. The ad revenue was 50.7 billion versus 14.9 billion. So looking good there. In terms of guidance, wide range spooked investors on Amazon. So the concerns are big AI investments and slowing AWS growth there. In terms of
Mm-hmm.
Apple's up 2% after hours. I don't know how it's looking right now. It's
It's
probably
holding. It's actually pushing up here a little bit right now.
solid. Yeah, love to see it. But they had their largest year-over-year revenue growth since December 2021, up 10%. iPhone sales were up 13% year over year. China sales up 4% year over year. Their tariff costs are $800 million, which sounds like a lot, but I guess that's better than feared. So,
Mm-hmm.
Cook says AI investment to significantly grow, which I mean, that's positive. I think even more in that area they need to be diving into.
Yeah,
But
Siri
yeah.
is dumb. Siri is real dumb. That's why they've been beaten up so much, is that everyone's just saying, this is just an algorithm bot there. I just want to remind myself, that's why I have that there. But yeah, this is why it hasn't participated at all in the rally of the other Mag 7, is people are just saying, hey, this thing is so far behind on AI, and they've got to buy someone or do whatever to catch up. And I've always just thought they have infinite money. If they want to really get into the game, they'll do it. But it's the way that Apple always works. Apple never invents anything. They just see something that's already invented, take that and just make it slicker and cleaner and easier to use, and all that, and then they come out with it a couple years later. So yeah, it's good to see that. And yeah, it is popping big with the SPY really not doing anything here. After that report, we have Apple doing just fine.
Yeah, look at that, holding up pretty good. way better than the market. So
way better than
looking
Amazon.
good there. Obviously, we had a big IPO yesterday. I was seeing pictures and videos of the stock exchange. My buddy was there. It was the most packed I've ever seen the stock exchange. And I mean, for good reason. It's a big IPO of Figma. And let's see, they opened at 3 times its price amid explosive demand. Nearly 9,000 Stocktwits users followed the ticker on day one, with the poll showing 49% of traders plan to buy shares. While the overall market cools, IPO activity is scorching, and retail's appetite shows no signs of slowing yet. Let's see, I think Figma is right now at 136. It hit a high of on that 148.90 area. That is just ridiculous. So
Yeah.
Figma's
Now
been absolutely ripping. What's your thoughts, Michael?
I gotta pound the table on the stat, right? You know, I'm a quant, so 80% of IPOs undercut their IPO price at some point in the first year. Now, you know, it's not happening for this, and it doesn't look like it's happening for Circle either. So it certainly doesn't have to, but it's one of those. I'm not for a trade. Go nuts, right? Scalp away. What I'm worried about is that people just think that this is going to be the next Circle, and it very well could, but it's just, especially with the market pulling back, because you got to think a lot of these are just driven 100% on speculation, speculative environments. And if we are going to get some sort of pullback in the overall market, that kind of cools the animal spirits just a little bit. But again, have fun, right? Have a stop, have a plan, trade it. There's the volatilities there. Go nuts. I just don't know. I wouldn't be buying it at these prices and just tucking it away somewhere in an account. If anything, I'll be trading it just super fast.
Fully agree. I mean, it's hype. It sounds cool. It looks fun, but I'm not going to care about it until it's below IPO price. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. There's
Plenty
a
of
million other
stocks.
stocks out there
Yeah.
in the market, right? So I'm not too worried about it. But people get so attached to it in that way, and I can see why, right? If you start out and you throw some big money in there to, from the start, you can really get caught up in it. But it was funny. I saw multiple people. I'm pretty sure every single person that tried to buy shares yesterday, or pre-order shares, only got one. I saw multiple people try and put orders in for thousands and thousands of shares. Every single person got one. So
I spent like 10 years in the hedge fund space, and there was one hedge fund, and the guy's whole edge on the market is he knew people. So he got into all these IPOs at their right. So there is a risk, Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs would kind of come to him and say, hey, we got this new IPO. And so when you hear that $30 price, that's who gets it, is rich people out there who says, yeah, I'll throw a couple $100 million in there. And then pretty much every single time he's flipping it out right when the thing opens, like every time, because I was able to see his trading, and it just seemed like the most cushiest trading job in the world. You have to know people. You got to bet whether or not they're going to do a good job of hyping the IPO or not. And then, you're literally in a stock for a minute, and then it opens up, you're out, go to cash, on to the next deal. So yeah, it's one of those, it's a big club and you're not in it type of thing. So
and you're not in it.
Good luck trading these things. That's why, again, I have a system, and a lot of people run systems what's looking for that undercut of the IPO price and rip back through, because it's the best we can do as kind of like normie retail people.
I don't know why you said club there. It made me think we should start a club, Michael Mouse, of like, you can't get in unless you show like a certain amount of payouts from your trading.
Nice. I like it.
Gotta get in the club. Gotta get some payouts to be able to get in there.
It's good. It would filter out a lot of people with rented Lambos, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Pops and drops to watch that we had over the past few days. ADN up 30%, surged on CoreWeave data center partnership. What does that look like? ADN.
I don't even know. I've never heard of it. And looking at this chart,
yeah, there's a lot of companies on here that I have not heard of, but love to see some newer ones ripping. Wow, this is really at the bottom of its range, trying to find a bounce, but looks like it's been trying to put in some sort of base down here. So something to keep an eye on, especially with that partnership. Roblox is up 10%. That's a name we know.
This chart has just been stupid. Like, look at this, and I've been ranting about this for a while. These stage one breakouts. Like look for these low bases, right? I've been using this and then this other outlet company that I have as an example of, right? Find the things that didn't die, like these horrible de-SPACs that went to near zero and didn't die. And then when they start to break out, man, like imagine because a lot of people are obsessed with catching the bottom. So say you missed the bottom on Roblox. You didn't get anywhere in the 20s or the 30s or whatever, and you just said, I'm going to wait for this base to resolve higher, which looks like it happened like right here on an earnings report at $50. Now you're up 3 times your money, and this thing's like pretty much a straight line. This is nuts. This is a crazy one for sure.
Yeah, that's stock, man. Absolutely killing it. So, I mean, shout out to the Roblox investors. I know you look at that. It's funny that base you see. We've been looking at a lot of stocks over the past few weeks, Michael, that have had that sort of base. Look at there's one of them right now. Rivian.
Yeah, I'm interested in this guy because right, and again, I could go through the whole Wyckoff speech again, but right.
Yep.
So I bought this one, and I've been averaging into this guy on the way up just because I bought their product and I want my money back in the stock. But yeah, things like Rivian, like there's so many that died. What was it, like Ride and, well, I guess Lucid didn't, but almost. So a lot of these EV companies just kind of went to zero. So I'm looking for these that didn't die, and you get this little undercut, and then it's just hanging out. So if Rivian can ever get back, I've just got an alert set. Right? Wake me up at 17, $18. It breaks through there. It doesn't Roblox up to 150. I'll take it. But yeah, this is the pattern that I'm really hunting for right now, is these low bases.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, that's what we got to hunt for, especially in this market when everything's just still flying at the all-time highs.
Yeah.
We had NCLH up 10%. Management says Great Tides Water Park to boost demand. Carvana up 18%. That's another name we know. They raised guidance better than expected quarter. Didn't that hit like $400?
Yeah. This is nuts. This has kind of been the key of, this is how you do a short squeeze, right? Because the company had its initial short squeeze like right down here, and they did all at once. They raised a whole bunch of money. It was just tons of cash. They didn't, where a lot of companies will do a little raise and then a little raise, and they'll just kind of, sprinkle out the raises over. They just did one giant raise. They got tons and tons of cash, and then they just put it to work, I guess, in a good way. It's all the way back up. So rare that you see a short squeeze actually stick. I mean, you can look at a lot of these other ones where they didn't. Even right, open, I think, was fading a little bit back down. And most of these don't stick, but yeah, Carvana is kind of the king, where it's stuck the landing, and it's at all-time highs. Imagine sitting there when the thing's like $3
I
and
hated
thinking it's going back to all-time
minute
highs.
too. I was shorting this stock for a fat minute. Made some good money originally, and then yeah, that went to shit. The last trade I took on it was a short that I lost on, and that thing ever since has just turned into a crazy stock. So hey,
Yeah,
shout out to Carvana, proving me wrong. Love to
wild
see
one.
it. A wild one for sure. Cigna up 8%. A slight uptick in medical costs shook investors. Or no, down 8%. My bad. Read that wrong. VFC also down 8%. Price targets cut amid FCF and tariff pressures. We had Apple up 2%, which we talked about a little bit. Post earnings bounce after the strong iPhone sales. And Amazon, which we also talked about, down 7%. I imagine more now. The guidance range spooked investors there despite the beat. Then we had ticker Cruise, bullish chatter on post-pandemic recovery momentum. That was a trade I was thinking about when COVID hit, but I haven't thought about that trade in a while. The cruise line trade looks like it's been doing good.
It's been holding on. This is one of those sparks that you can build where it's just I don't know the actual ETF, but a conglomeration of it's interesting. It just, I don't know. I look at these the same way as I look at airlines, where it's just such a rough business to be. If you take this and you go to, I guess it probably didn't exist that long, but look at any of them: AAL, Alaskan Airlines, DAL, and you just look at this, and what a hard business to be in. It's like, why invest in something like this when you can do like a software company that's going to have higher margins? And this is a rough business to do.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you.
Leisure as a whole, I think, is just hard.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Economic data we had this morning. We had NFP come out, which let's take a look at that. Obviously brought a little volatility this morning. NFP came out at 108,000 though. Previous was 147,000. No, that was the forecast. Why is my thing not updated?
Well, and
There we go.
they
73,000.
revised so much. Like I looked into it for a second. I was in the green room of another show that I popped on. They were talking about how the big deal was they revised everything back, and it just reminded me why I'm a technical analyst, because they come out with these numbers, and then a couple months later they go, yeah, we were completely wrong, and we have to go back all of these and re-revise every number that we've ever put out. Like, yeah, but Apple's closing price will always be Apple's closing price, so I'm just going to stick to the data that they don't mess with. Looks like almost a net, like no reaction. Had a big little spike down right off the jump, a little bit back up right off the jump, and then we're just kind of back in this zone. And if we look at the futures instead of the ETF, you can just see, really, I think the story is we gotta hold this zone in order to stay bullish today. Maybe a little bit of a flush off the open or something like that. If we can start to push up, that's fine. But it's no big deal that we're just pulling back into this prior range. Wouldn't shock me at all if we come back and retest the all-time high breakout, right, and then do a throwback to that and maybe start to dig in or bounce there. But yeah, overall, a really big number, because I know that jobs are what the Fed is looking at. A weakness in the job market should, in theory, allow them to finally start cutting rates, which we know would make Trump happy as well. He keeps yelling at the guy to cut rates very aggressively.
Yeah, he's not too happy about that. Yeah, we got some more data at 10 here as well to watch out for. So if you're trading going into this morning, you're going to want to watch that 10 o'clock Eastern spot. We have ISM, manufacturing, PMI, and consumer sentiment coming out. So got to be a little bit careful there. You know what's interesting, Michael Mouse? Next week, super dry on the economic data. I think we have two things all week in terms of red folder. And
wow.
I mean, we still have earnings. Obviously, the market's dropped, so VIX is, sitting at a good spot going into next week. I think we're gonna be able to still find some good trades, but
yeah,
I guess all we're really relying on is like earnings volatility and the VIX being, where it's at right now. Because if it was at 14 going into next week, I'd be very cautious. So I'm interested to see how that plays out into the next week. See what
yeah, I would be interesting to see if we get a VIX collapse today. For the reason I mentioned earlier, if I'm short this market and I know that at any point Trump could just go, you know what, we're not doing the whole tariff thing anymore. The market looks too nasty for me, and just completely back out. That's a big worry. So, but when it comes to the VIX, yeah, just a little bit of a pop here. That could still, I think the market could go up today and the VIX could stay elevated. I think that could absolutely happen, because you see what's happening in the market. It just might be more people just wanting to buy a little bit of insurance going into the weekend, in case the other thing happens where he just goes crazy about something. could be anything, but yeah, VIX 20 handle I think is reasonable, right? When you get into the low teens, you start to get into that kind of complacency territory where people think nothing can hurt them. So when you get back up to the anywhere between 18 and 20, that I think is a more, I guess, a healthier, you could say, VIX level.
Yeah, this is my sweet spot for sure. I love this kind of 17 to 20 range. You can just tell what the candlesticks to this morning. You look at the ranges. You look at just right now how many points we're off from like the London low, or like I just look at the same entries that I'd be taking on any other given day recently, but now I can very much tell they're definitely a bit more points that I'd be risking versus what we've been doing recently. So going into today, I'm definitely probably going to be sized a little smaller, just because that volatility is higher, and I don't want to be putting I don't want to be oversizing. So,
and just such a big thing I think to hit on over and over again is just that's what professional traders do, right? Not professional traders don't just buy 100 shares because they want to buy 100 shares of everything, right? It's you size yourself in, you size yourself out. You depending on volatility, ATR I think is a great way to do it. You just put up a little ATR indicator, a short-term one, and then you say, depending on what that is, I'm going to pick different lot sizes, and it makes way more sense. You're risking the same amount, and you're just saying, hey, it's more volatile, so I'm gonna, pull back a little bit. It's less volatile. I'm gonna bump it up a little bit.
It's funny, the vol's been so low. I usually trade micro contracts on the futures. But recently I've been stepping it up to the minis just because the volatility has been so low that it's more worth it to be trading those for me.
Yeah.
I imagine this morning I step it back down to the micros though. So we'll see how that goes. We had some pre-market earnings this morning as well that are going off. Moderna mRNA is reporting. Let's see that. I haven't looked at that chart in a long time, to be completely honest with you. $27. Oh boy. Yeah, I
Ooh.
mean, the stock's gotten hammered. We're, I guess, trying to base and go sideways a little bit more, but off that pop, we're getting sold off pretty hard. This thing can trade right back to the lows if it wants to. I don't know. You got any thoughts there?
Yeah, it's one of those low bases. I'd like to see it for longer. So just
Yeah.
to, reiterate my kind of low base idea is I want it to not die for like a year, right? I don't want it to be, if you look at this guy, right? It's been what 2022 until now, right? You look at Rivian, the same thing I'm interested in. This is what 2022, 2023 until now. So this is starting to put in a low base. Same with Intel, but I just think they need a little bit more time. Just give me a little over a year of just annoying price action, and then I know that a lot of these bag holders might go out. So that's what this blue line is as well, right? This is the anchored VWAP from this prior cycle high. If we can end up getting through that, which just deleted on me, there it is. That's kind of interesting to me, but yeah, there's nothing to do here. It's just a bear flag until proven otherwise.
Yeah. Another name that's got annoying and boring price action is XOM,
Oh yeah,
which
energy.
that is that reported and it's not doing
Yeah.
too much. It's at 112.50. Oil's been getting some crazy moves though lately. On the crude oil future side of things, it's definitely been getting some rips. But again, it's still just like an asset that forever consolidates. So just a
Yeah,
tough
so
trade for me.
well, like a dividend, if you're looking for a dividend, maybe something like that. But yeah, I'm with you. This isn't something. There's so much. The one thing that I hate more than anything is dead money. I'd rather take a trade, lose on it, move on with my life than to take a trade, have that thing just exist in limbo for a long period of time. It's a nightmare. So that's why I use something called time stops quite frequently, where it's, I give a shot clock. I've heard it be called. You enter a trade, you give it a period of time, whatever that ends up being, a month, a week, whatever your time frame is, and then if it doesn't do anything, you just get out. So that's the kind of thing that, yeah, this is a nightmare to me. I just wouldn't be interested at all.
You got any names that your bots are looking at going into the open right now or what?
Oh, just like I think 55. But a lot of it's going
This
to
guy's
be
crazy.
eventually it's going to be a lot of dip buying, right? That's what I think a
Mhm.
lot of these things are going to do, and I'll kind of live and die by that. I don't know what this Arrow Electronics is, but the bot did a lot of looking for just crazy candles like this, and if they get an extension lower, it's gonna pick them up, and if not, then it will kind of rip from there. But that is a lot of what I'm looking at, and what I'm always looking at is this, can we get a big move one way or another, and then I can trade with that, or fade it if it's a little bit too much.
Yeah, agreed. What's up, Leah? Good morning.
Hi guys, can you hear me well?
Yeah, you sound
Yep.
great. That's a good mic. Sounds good.
Thank you. Perfect. Yay, finally. My gosh. Nice to see you. Good
Nice to
Nice
morning.
see
to
you,
see
guy.
you.
Having
Happy
an exciting
Friday.
morning. Happy Friday, finally.
Oh my gosh, it was an insane week, huh?
Yeah, I always am excited for the show, so
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
what have you been trading? What you been looking at?
let me back out here, and you
I
can
was
share
playing the
some.
Figma yesterday, so that was a huge
So
day
you
for
hopped
me.
on.
Yeah, no, I bought it in pre-IPO, so I had a big day.
Very
And
nice.
then I just am short SPY since Monday.
I've been playing the short a little bit more too. It's actually been there. It's actually been like
Yeah,
kind of good. So I've been playing it a little more too. But I'm
yeah,
interested to see if this market wants to try and rebound a little bit. We're going into a new month, which is
yeah,
always interesting. I don't know. I usually don't do too well at the beginning of the month, so usually a lot less trading for me.
yeah.
But yeah, Figma Figma was killer. That thing just ripped
Yeah,
all day.
I
Let's
should
see.
just I should just like close this year
I was gonna say, are you still in
call
it,
it a
holding
day.
right now? Are you looking
Huh?
for more?
I just started with system, so for me, it honestly doesn't matter how much money I make. I have the same system no matter what. And what I will do with the money, I'm just gonna wait until we have a meaningful dip and buy stuff for longer term. That's
Hmm.
pretty much what I will do. I have my shopping list ready. I have my hedges. Like I know it's hard to time the top, and I'm not really the person who wants to short every single time. I'm a long girl. I'm max long. But honestly, when you get into the seasonality like this, every single year, just look at the chart. We have some weakness in August, September, and it goes into the October. So just protecting my portfolio a little bit is not bad. So I started hedging on Monday and I still have my hedges. And when I'm looking at the SPY chart, like 21 is broken now. Of course, we can bounce here. If we bounce here, I might take the hedges off. I will be up on them a lot because VIX was like 15 when I was buying them. Now VIX is what? Let's check. This is one thing is very important. It's really nice to buy options when VIX is low. Oh yeah,
Vix is
19. So
looking
I'm
nice.
already making money on that already. So
Hmm.
yeah, I like to have some something to let me sleep well, and that's a huge difference. People have to understand the difference between shorting the market and hedging when you have longs.
Hmm.
So that's what I did, and then what else did I trade? Let me check my watch list because I have my beautiful weekly watch list right here. um so yesterday I tried to trade a little bit. I went long MSDR. I wanted to see if we might run into the earnings. This was my like the little breakout here, but then I saw the weakness in the market, so I got out. That's important, that people need to also pay attention to the overall market, and I see a lot of traders don't do that at all. They just pay attention to the individual stocks and they don't care about the market. But when I
Agreed.
see weakness in the market and I have a swing to it that's long, I'm closing. I don't care, especially when I'm expecting something might go down. So that was a little trade. Otherwise, nothing else. I'm a long investor in Microsoft Meta, so it's pretty good.
Oh, those look like meme stocks on earnings. It was ridiculous. They just flew. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow.
Yeah, yeah.
What are you using to hedge when you are hedging? Are
That was
you
going to be my
long
question.
VIX falls?
Options
Yeah, I'm
or
curious.
So I do usually options. I buy puts, but again, like it's a whole system in this. Like you can just YOLO puts. Like I tell people, on $100,000 portfolio, you want to spend max $2,000-$3,000 on puts. Buy them around Delta 50, right? So people oversize on those, and then also important is to know hedges. They might expire completely worthless because you have certain bias in your mind. You want to sleep better. There is a lot of psychology behind it. So I bought 635, 620, and 600 puts for 19th and 30th of September. You can also use the volatility products, right? You might hedge with volatility, betting that volatility will go higher in certain time. You can buy the futures, you can buy the options on that. You can also hedge with SARC, for example, or the inverse ETFs, right? So SARC today is flying because, of course, it's an inverse ARC, and ARC was up so much on the year. So you can hedge with those too. Depends on, some people don't like options, so they can hedge with this. Some people I was also short SPY. This was my setup. I got in short SPY at 627.21, and my target was 602, 632, sorry, 637, 632. That was my short early this week into FOMC. Wish I would stay in, but I have my targets, so I kind of respect them. Yeah, so some people don't like shorting. That's why for them it's good to do the inverse ETFs because they will technically be still long, right? It all depends what you work well with. I like shorting with options because when the VIX is really low, just need the VIX to kick in a little bit, and I'm printing on those because it's a huge part of the option price rise to volatility. So yeah, I'm up on this 50% on all those, around 50% already in a couple of days. So that's a huge income there for me. I might close it here if I see we're bouncing because I don't want to hold them for the week. I will reopen new hedges if I see
Yeah,
that we
into the
don't
weekend
get.
is a little scary
Mhm.
for sure.
well,
But I don't. It's not scary because scary is only if you have undefined risk.
True.
mhm.
Very
For
true.
me, I don't care. If I lose this money, I
It's just part of the
calculated
plan.
$100,000 to $3,000 I spent. If I have $500,000, that's 10 grand. But imagine like I'm hedged. If something happens, I will make really good money and I can buy options. Then I close them, right? When the market hits some of my supports, and I will take all this money and I buy stocks at those prices. So I will win situation.
Mhm.
You're scared if you don't really know what's going to happen, and that's without a plan. But if you have a plan, you don't care. I don't care about losses, to be honest with you. I lose 50 to 70% of time when I look at my trading spreadsheet that I write diligently. Every trade is on there, and this is like a huge article I've wrote about it. It does not matter. People are too focused on the win rate in trading, and especially new traders. It
Yes.
doesn't matter because it hurts them ego. They feel like, oh, I'm stupid, I lost, I didn't know. No, that's not how it works. You can lose so many times and I still make money. So
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Michael,
it's
did you want
yeah.
to touch on that?
No, I was just say read the turtle trading books, right? These guys became Jerry Parker's still out there trading. He's a billionaire now, and they had a win rate of 35%, I think. And
Mhm.
yeah, just knocking it completely out of the park. Um, so pray for me a little bit here, boys, because I've been hearing the British man from IB just screaming in my ear. I think
Yeah,
I've
yeah, do it, do it. I also
I've
have to, I'm sorry, I have to also update because there are people following my trades.
yeah, go
Uh,
nuts.
so closing my hedges
Yeah.
here, I think
The
over 50%.
yeah, I've just bought 15, I think, different stocks for a day trade. I think it's up
Wow,
to we're 8 minutes in. I've taken 15 trades, so we'll see. So
that's awesome.
obviously, they're all long, so I'm rooting for a bounce. But like Lee was saying, these day trading strategies are kind of market maker style, right? So I'm buying dips, I'm selling rips. It's because intraday, generally speaking, you don't get much of your movement. Most of your movement happens overnight. So I do a lot of trend following overnight, and then a lot of mean reversion intraday, and have just been buying and buying and buying and buying all day. Currently, only down $2, so I'll be okay. But yeah,
Let's
everything's
go.
just about flat. But yeah, I can just show you guys. Let me see if I can grab this chart, and I'll just grab the screen for a second. But
Yeah.
here's the grab this. Here's the list. It's pretty nuts. And again, so for those who don't know me, I'm a quant. Um, take over. I think it's letting me steal. I think. Boom.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So here is everything so far. I think. Oh no, there's a scroll bar. So it's more than that.
There's a scroll bar.
But yeah, and again, that's just how it. So if we look at, I don't know, some of these like CRDO, you can start to see what it's a very basic kind of mean reversion type strategy, right? Is give me very weak candles yesterday and then an extension on those candles today, and MongoDB, right? So, but the problem is the whole SPY put in a very weak candle and then an extension today. So you're going to get a lot of names that are moving with the S&P 500. So being able to MindMed didn't have a weak candle, but it dipped down here today. I own a lot of this from a swing trading and investment standpoint, but seeing it in the day trading account too. And that's how my day goes. Is I sit here and make sure the bot isn't doing anything too crazy. It's almost maxed out my entire intraday buying power. So
Already.
yeah, we'll
We're
we'll
not
see.
we're not even 15 minutes in.
Yeah,
I love it.
but that's the goal, and I had this all planned out the night before, and
Yeah.
I'll be right 53% of the time and wrong the rest.
I
And
love it.
I still hear them yelling, so it's going to keep going, I think, until the buying power's out. So if we can get a nice bounce on some of these plays, it's going to be a great day for me. If we sell all day long, then I'll have a losing day. Right? And I've got a max cap loss for this account where it's kind of programmed in. If you lose X amount, it just liquidates everything and goes to cash and says, "Great, try again tomorrow." And every day this week so far has been profitable with the system. So if this day I get killed, that's no fun, but it will happen. But if we do a nice bounce today at all, then just know that I'm having a good time.
Yeah, well, good thing
Nice.
is it's the beginning of the month, so even if it doesn't go so well, you got plenty of time to bring it right back around, right?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a question for you. I spent the whole week programming my own stuff. I created an indicator I have now on TradingView, and now I'm trying to build on Quant Connect, and then I will say I might move it to IB. But how many trades at a time do you open? Do you have any limitation there?
There'll be, well, the limit will be the buying power. So it's always an interesting problem because there's this whole over trading thing that we talk about all the time, and I only believe over trading is a problem if you don't have an edge in your trades. If you do, you want to be trading as much as possible and using. I have a whole podcast about quantitative trading, and one of the most recent episodes was how happy we get as quants when we run out of buying power, because if there's unutilized buying power, it means I'm unutilized edge, right? So if I have an edge, I should be exploiting it. Now, with most of these, what I do is I feed into a symbol list, which you can create on TradingView. And right, that symbol list I think has like 40 some odd symbols in it right now.
So
And
wait,
then
you have a symbol list on TradingView, and you link that to the IB, but you change the symbol list every week, or how do you do it?
for the day trades every day, for the swing trades every week, for my
You
investments
do it manually.
every month. Well, yeah, I export. So I use a different backtesting software, so that will export the symbols. I'll take them into Excel, and then I just upload them to IB. And then if you set this, I don't think I'll dox myself, but if you set an alert here, you can point it to either the symbol you have on the screen or the symbol list that you have over here. And then through webhook integration, so this is from a place called Signal Stack, you can check out where it will link TradingView. This is a TrendSpider affiliated company, but yeah, it will link a lot of brokers via webhook over to it. So I get real nerdy with people. So
I saw that there's like everything pretty
It's funny.
much
I
in there.
just like learned this, Michael, so I know what you're
Okay.
talking about now. I just like have done all this. So
yeah, so it's in the indicator. It has a bunch of code, JSON code for symbol, side, price, all that kind of stuff. So every time the alert comes through, I hear it in my ear, the little beep from TradingView, and then a couple seconds later, the British guy, or a second later, too, he yells, and then with it comes a stop loss, profit target, any sort of trailing stop or whatever is all associated in there. So for me, it's every night, run my systems, upload the symbols to it, click a button, and just wait and monitor.
Yeah, so this is very, very helpful because we built Scanner on Bloomberg. We spent 1 year building it. It was like thousands of hours of work with two people. And we want to now move that scanner somewhere that it actually screens for the stocks for us as well. So, because I don't even want to do the watch list. I want the robot to do everything for me. So that's what I'm working on now and testing it.
You could get fancier with it. I'm sure you could have it, you could just have it
to code it somewhere, but we'll see. We'll see. There is a chance to do it on, I think, Quant Connect.
Well, and even you could use agents at this point as they become more and more kind of integrated. You could build your own little AI agent on machine and have it just tell it that every night it grabs the file or the symbols from these and it uploads it into that, and then away you go. But for me, it's almost like I kind of like the ritual of just going through. I don't, again, I upload all of them, so I don't need to enter all of them. But a lot of it is me going through this list, and I like to kind of know what it's trading in case there's something here that just looks like ridiculous to me. Then I'm
remove it. Oh yeah, I would do that too, but I wanted to create the list for me because otherwise I spend 4 hours looking for stocks creating the list. So if this thing creates a list of 20, 30 stocks, then I go over 20, 30 stocks quickly. And I will kick out, like last week we had 40 stocks on Sunday and I kicked out half of them out, or maybe even more. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. What is this company? Sometimes it comes up with tickers. You're like, no, I'm not trading this.
Oh, and that's smart, right? So you want to, I think a lot of people equate quantitative trading with like laziness, right? I'm just I'm gonna let these things go and leave. Now, the way I look at it is that just because I'm not watching the actual trades and hitting the buttons to enter and exit, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to, at least for the first hour, I usually just watch the bot, make sure it doesn't do anything crazy for that load in period. Like there's still a lot of work to do. And then like any, human being with ambition, as soon as I'm not watching the charts all day to buy and sell stocks, you're filling it with other times to build new strategies and to systematize and to and then tracking and reconciliation. If you're not a fan of that kind of accounting stuff, then the game's not for you either. But again, the beauty that for me personally, it just really helps with the emotional side of things. I'm completely detached to all of these trades that have taken place because they're not really my trades. I didn't have to hit the button on them, right? They're the robots' trades, so I can just kind of manage them as they come. And even with, I'm actually really happy because I'm watching them down a bit. But even with the SPY selling off, I'm doing all right. Right? I'm down like $100, which is pretty much break even, right, at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's definitely an interesting road to go down. I encourage all traders to at least think about it to see if it's something that they're potentially interested in doing. But I've hit the buying power limit. I think I have $300 worth of available cash. So I'm YOLO. So how I do it is essentially intraday trading is for margin. Because I don't like to swing trade too much on margin. Like Leah was saying, it messes with the sleep. So I like to be most just cash positions for intraday or for swing trading. And then during the day, you have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of margin buying power. You might as well be doing something with it, deploying it.
Yeah.
So if you can come up with a strategy with just a little tiny edge, you should use it, right?
Yeah, of course. Why not? Yeah. Yeah. I love it. It's all about automatization, making your life easier. It's I don't know if I would let the robot quite yet to execute my trades. I would have to test it for so long.
I do
But as you
both.
said,
I've
yeah.
been getting into it, Leah. I do both
Huh?
now. Because I'm so stingy. Like if I'm gonna manually
Uh-huh.
trade, I'm only gonna manually trade one way because I want to focus on
Mm-hmm.
one way of seeing the market. But I also know there's plenty of strategies that are profitable and work well, and that
Yeah.
might be catching trades when I'm not. So I've been doing the same thing that Michael's doing, programming bots and coding different strategies to just capitalize when I'm not. You know what I mean? But I get you. I had to do some back testing myself before I could like feel super comfortable letting
Yeah.
it trade for me. But then it passed me a few funded accounts on its own. I'm like, okay, this thing knows what it's doing.
Well,
So
and then paper trading too, right? As I always say,
yeah,
is just hook the bot first. And
back test
interactive
it.
brokers, you can do it fine with. Just hook the bot into a paper account and then just kind of mirror when you see a trade come in the paper account, like look at it yourself and take it live. And then eventually you'll just be comfortable enough with looking at it and saying, the bot is doing the same thing that I would do, and it's making less errors. And right, why would I do that? And again, for me, it's not about being lazy, it's about mental capital, right? I look at it
Yeah.
as now I've freed up so much mental capital I can deploy in building other
Something else.
strategies and
Yeah.
doing my service over at Stats Edge Trading and all that kind of stuff, because I'm not sitting here just glued to the screen punching buttons all
Yeah.
day, right?
That's the problem when you trade. I have all these crazy indicators, but the notifications on TradingView are not really great. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, sometimes too noisy. And as you said, if you want to be with algo trading 15 things at the same time, it's impossible to do it. So
Mhm.
that's my goal, basically, to be able to have something helping me in that sense, so I don't have to sit there scrolling through all the charts waiting for a
It's time consuming.
notification.
Yeah.
Impossible. So we'll see. I can't code. I'm using everything possible I can learn, and
I
they're
use pretty
working.
much exclusively ChatGPT and Claude for all these things. Just yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not doing them myself by any means. I'm just not good at it. So you use the AI and then you don't trust the AI, so you test, right? First you test in paper and then you test small,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
risk, put $100 on each trade or something ridiculous that if it goes to zero, who cares? And then after that, you start to kind of expand out and push out over time because, yeah, I'm just, I heard the out of buying power notification, so it's still trying to buy stuff on the way down. I just need some relief here, or, you hit your max stop for the day and you're done. And that's fine for me too. It's not as fun, especially going into the weekend, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We
I
keep
love what
going
you were.
lower. 621. So we
I
probably hit
know.
They're taking it.
620 today.
Oh, where,
Was too early with the hedge.
yeah,
You
where's
Straight
this
never
thing?
know.
line. It's a straight line.
It was
not
clear,
that
yeah,
movement.
but it was clear. And Figma, look at that too. It's like honestly, this is a low float stock. It's
Mhm,
like not an elevator down, it's a fireman Pullman down with this
mhm.
kind of stocks. I think it
Yes.
will go back down to 40, 50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Down to
I want to see Figma
42?
drop.
Did
I'm
you say?
sorry.
Did you say down to 42?
40, between 40 and 50.
Whoa. Oh, that's a
Yeah, well,
bold
the
call. I
opening
like
price
it.
was
Yeah.
33. I mean, that was
Yeah.
supposed to be, sorry, not the opening price, the value that they had.
Mhm,
That's where I bought my shares, $33. Was supposed to be 25 to 28 the week before, but the demand was so high that they increased it to 33. And look what happened. I mean, I think that, yeah, I don't know. I think that is just too crazy. Like the price 33 was valuation of $19.6 billion, which Adobe that time offered $20 billion, and the
mhm.
government didn't allow the cooperation, which was a
Yeah.
very visionary thing from Adobe to do because they knew that Figma is really gonna kill it. It would have been a good purchase for them, but the government stopped it. So yeah, I don't know. This evaluation, when you look at it, by $33 was 19.6 billion. It went up what 300% almost. So it's that's look, it's an amazing company, but it's not worth half of Adobe
Mhm.
market cap. So yeah, I think it's gonna go lower for sure. So
Yeah, I could agree. We'll
yeah.
see. We'll see if I'm interested in it under the IPO price. See what kind of opportunities arise then. But till
Yeah,
then,
below
I'm not gonna let
33.
it.
I don't think
Yeah,
it's going to go below 33, God forbid, no, but I think 40, 50 can happen.
yeah.
Because when you look at a lot of these stocks, they do sell off pretty hard after a while. So might not be now, might be later, maybe when we get weakness in September or maybe now in August. We'll see. We'll see.
I like what you were saying too, Michael Nels, about taking losses with autonomy. It's
Mhm.
it's funny how it works where you could go buy two accounts or like go fund two accounts, whatever it is, and be trading one manually. They're both your accounts, but be trading one manually and be having your bot trade the other one. And it's so interesting to me how I'll feel significantly better about taking the loss on the bot just because I didn't click the button. It's just so
Yep.
much psychologically, it's so much easier to go through when I didn't fuck it up. It's just like the system's doing the system and it's playing what it needs to play to bring me success. It's doing its thing. Right. And for some reason, I've gotten a lot better at it after all this time, but like I know how difficult it can be for, a trader to come in and trust their own plan and their own system so much and their own execution to be able to have that same confidence. You know what I mean? It's extremely tough. So I just love that
Well,
side of the autonomy.
and if you look at it, again, I spend so much time in the hedge fund game, right? Do you ever think that the actual hedge fund manager is doing any of the trades? It's like absolutely not. He's got a guy for that, right? He says, listen, we like Apple because we think blah blah blah, whatever it is, and then he passes it off to a execution trader who's probably got a CMT or something like that, and says, you work us into the position over time. Now, again, it's probably just showing how old I was. That's how it worked when I was there. Now it's probably just an AI robot or something. But the that separation really, really helps where the guy who's placing the trades has no attachment to Apple. He doesn't care about why you buy or sell it. His job is to get like an under VWAP price over a number of days or a number of weeks. And the portfolio manager isn't really watching the stock and the P&L every day because he's got some sort of grand thought process on what's going to happen. So that separation between idea generation and execution is how a lot of these institutions work. And you even see it in some large prop firms like S&B Capital, where they now trade pretty much exclusively in pods, where there's like 4 or 5 of them that have to agree on an idea, and then maybe one will come up with the pre-market scanning the idea and pass it off to someone else for execution. And because that separation, just from an emotional standpoint, is so huge. So yeah, for me, when I look at it, I'm looking at it, I'm down what, $270 from these trades so far from the open. But they're not, I didn't have to go and find the trades and hit the button. That, and
Mhm.
because I'm quantitative, I have this system back tested with these 6 strategies for 25 years. So I know the return. I know that there's just going to be days that I'm going to get slapped, but most days I'm going to do okay and make some money off it. And having that separation and that path to confidence with the back test just makes it so it's just like I'm like a drone about it at this point, right?
Yep.
What will happen will happen, and either with me or without me, I just don't really care. You know, something will occur.
Fully agree. Some great thoughts. Great combo with you guys always on the Friday. We appreciate the whole audience tuning in every week. It's always a fun time. We'll see how this week or how we want to close up on this Friday. Obviously, we're still kind of selling. Looks like we're trying to find some sort of little bounce on NQ and ES here.
Mhm.
Go sideways a bit,
Yeah.
but yeah, nice little sell in the morning. So we'll see how the day plays out. I'm probably not doing anything though. It's the first day of the month. I've had a great month this past one. I'm gonna take a chill and just kick back for the day. But I appreciate you guys coming on. If you're in the audience, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing on the Stocktwits YouTube. We will be back next Friday with the crew, and of course, Stock Savvy Shy and Katy Perry are on throughout the week. So make sure you guys are tuning into that show as well. But appreciate everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Trade safe and have a great rest of the day and have a great weekend. Peace out.
Thank
See you
you.
guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.